This week will mark the 10th anniversary of the U.S. housing bubble. It left people all over the country in difficult situations, trying to manage homes they couldn't sell and mortgages they couldn't pay.
From mortgage fraud to skyrocketing foreclosures, it was a time that many thought they'd never escape, but a lot has changed since then. Real estate expert Long Doan joins us this morning with more. Good morning.
Good morning, Cindy. Good morning, Andrea.
Now, before we look back, let's look at the market right now in New York and this area, what it's looking like right now.
Yeah, New York, just like most part of the country, have recovered nicely. The average foreclosure rate in the country historically is about 0.05%. That's 1 in every 2,000 homes that foreclose typically. But during the crisis, you know, some part of the country, like Florida, was 12%. That's 1 in every 8 homes in the neighborhood for being foreclosed. Well, New York and New Jersey have recovered, just like most part of the country, back to median home prices where it was prior to the crash. However, there's a phenomenon here in New York and New Jersey is that these are judicial foreclosure state, which means you have to file with the state to go through the foreclosure process. And right after the foreclosure crash, robo-signing came around, and that's when you guys might remember that bank employees were signing documents to file for foreclosure in the court system here in New York, but they were not going through due diligence to review the documents to make sure they were right.
So some people are still going through foreclosures now related to 10 years ago.
Yep.
So when we look back, I mean, there was a lot of blame to go around. What would you say were one of the main themes that caused this housing bubble, and what are some of the lessons that people should keep in mind so this does not repeat?
Yep, definitely, Andrea. So what had happened is there was a lot of factors, but the main one probably was irresponsible lending, where mortgage and banks were lending to consumers with exotic loan programs, I guess we used to call back then, 2-3 years adjustable rate mortgage, interest only, you know, no income, no asset, really low credit score, and worse yet, very little to 0% down on homes. So everyone was getting in to buy home, hoping that in about 2 to 3 years they would refinance out, but interest rate went up so high and the home was going up so fast that the bubble finally bursted 10 years ago.
So are there laws now in place to prevent it from happening again?
Yeah, there are good laws that are out there that hopefully we will all learn from it. You know, although I think banks and lenders are getting smarter too, and they're almost swung a little bit too far the other way, both in laws and in lending underwriting guideline. But I think that's going to change to go back to normal again here very soon.
So what would you say is the thing that a potential homeowner should keep in mind if by some chance down the road a bank wants to try to, you know, help you buy a home that really you can't afford, right?
Yes, so just be more responsible and make sure that you have the right down payment. Also take a look at to see if you can afford it or not. Because back during those days, you might qualify for the loan, but you can't afford the loan. That's a big difference. So underwriting guideline now is making sure that you have the appropriate down payment, and sustainable home ownership is probably the theme that all banks and lenders are trying to do now.
All right, Long Doan, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you. And more information will be on our website, cbsnewyork.com.
And we'll be right back.
Thank you.